Hey trackies, welcome back to another video. This is not TXT track time. This is TXT track time news. So subscribe. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Subscribe. Okay, well, I was waiting to see Kishane Thompson turn up on the track. He turned up indeed in the 4x100 meters track. However, it didn't go how Jamaica thought it would go. Everybody was sitting there going, huh? What exactly happened? And yeah, track is I'm going to go over, the 4x100 meters because as I said, we were excited having the MVP team show up there to compete in the 4x100 meters. But not only that, just to get that well needed, in my opinion, practicing. And I think overall, what we witnessed in that 4x100 meters proves that we indeed needed the practice. But anyway, let's get into it, guys. So, two teams were the teams that participated in the 4x100 meters for the men. No other team showed up. I believe they said it was supposed to be, I believe, around 5 teams, sorry, but only two turned up. The Dominican, sorry, Republic and Jamaica. No, not gonna lie to you, Jamaica went in as heavy favorites. No, we had on the first leg Nishiani Banks to Rohan Watson, to I believe it was Michael Campbell, to Kishane Thompson and Anchor. And yeah, that to me, I mean, if all else goes wrong, depend on Kishane and Anchor, right? That was everybody else's thought. And of course, Dominican Republic had their team. I know Alexander Oganda was a part of the team. Unfortunately, on the result sheet, there's no the list of participants aren't there, so I can't really tell you who else was a part of the Dominican Republic team. But that being said, those are the athletes that lined up, and track is, as I said, it didn't go how we thought. Jamaica lost. It was slightly embarrassing, and I had to scratch my head a little bit and go, No, this is quite interesting. But yeah, we lost to the Dominican Republic. They ran a 38.95 seconds, and we ran a 39.11 seconds for second. Overall, the Dominican Republic, I thought, had pretty smooth changeovers. And they said that they were practicing, for about a week, and yeah, so they came out and did the performance and won. Kudos to them. They did false start in the beginning, but hey, who wants to see only one athlete one team running a race? So I thought they wisely put them back in. I mean, it's a non-factor meeting anyway, so why not? And yeah, it was good competition. And yeah, Jamaica lost. uh Chuckies, I thought this highlighted why we need to practice. And you've heard me stress it over and over again. Practice, 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 practice. And what we saw in this race is literally no cap. I'm not even joking. Literally what we saw last year at the Olympic Games. It was a bit messier, don't get me wrong, at the Olympic Games, but it was the same thing when it came to the changeovers, athletes not getting to their marks when they were supposed to, or leaving their marks too quickly. And yeah, made the handover or changeover a bit late in some instances. That being said, just the changes overall is what defeated Team Jamaica. And as I said, pretty reminiscent of what we saw in 2024. If y'all remember what happened in the Olympic Games, then yeah, pretty reminiscent. And Kishane wasn't able to get back, unfortunately, in the heat. And it's the same thing here. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get back. I'm starting to think something else as well. One thing I've always appreciated about different relay legs or just the relays in general, it really pinpoints and highlights who are really good relay runners and who are, I think, maybe are not good relay runners. Now, the name of the high school that Kishane went to is slipping me right now, but I don't believe he has ever participated in a 4x1 100 meters outside of coming up now as a senior athlete and getting the opportunity because of his ridiculous potential and talent to just go right into running a 4x1. That being said, I think his inexperience running a 4x1 is really standing out because I went back to last year in my mind. At least I didn't rewatch the race, but I went back in my mind and I remember thinking last year that this isn't just a messed up baton, because we've seen this time and time again where batons are messed up. But if you have a really strong anchor leg runner, they're able to pull back or claw back a certain amount of that lead. We've seen it from the likes of a Andre DeGrasse. They may not run the best, flat 100 with no baton, but once they have a baton in their leg, they have some kind of ridiculous superhuman acceleration, right? And they're able to, fly past everybody and get their team in the conversation. And I didn't see that last year from Aki Shane. Even though we were behind, as I said, I wasn't getting that ridiculous acceleration that I was hoping to get from a man that has run 9.7. And here again, I didn't see that acceleration, regardless of the fact that we're in early season. Let me give you a good comparison. When I look at a Sandra Davison, not the fastest, right? When he's, running his individual event, but when he's on a relay, you get to see that immediate burst of speed in his acceleration, where he's able to go from point A to point B and get Jamaica into things. So it's starting to make me wonder if Kishane doesn't have that, acceleration, immediate acceleration that is needed, especially on an anchor leg, representing a team. But I'll have to watch him some more running. I don't know if it's because of his inexperience why it appears that way, but I'm starting to know in my mind question where I would probably, start to probably maneuver the relay legs to make up for not getting that acceleration that as I said, that I was hoping to get from a Kishane. I didn't see that here, as I said, so it's leaving a few question marks in my mind. But as I know, he's pretty new to the relays, so I still have that grace in my mind for him to overcome that trial period, I guess. But for now, as I said, it's leaving a little bit of question marks in my brain. But yeah, let's see what happens. I was pretty surprised that Jamaica didn't win, to say the least, for sure. All right, so I really want to touch on the women's 4x100 meters. Jamaica did win this. Well, we were the only team, competing, right? But I really thought I got to see a really strong relay quartet from the 4x1s. So it was Natasha to Janelle, I believe. Janelle Smith. So Natasha Morrison, Janelle Smith, and then into, I believe that was Tia Clayton, and then into Sharika Jackson. I thought it was really, really solid running. You could tell that these athletes are experienced running the relays versus what you saw with the men, where there was a lot of uncertainty. You could tell that for the women, they've done this before and it was just plug and play for them, which made me happy to say the least, because at least when we start to navigate and move things around, I don't have to really worry about the experience level for these athletes. We know the juniors have been coming up from a tier perspective, running. As a matter of fact, all these athletes, on this team, did well from a champs perspective. I don't remember Natasha at champs though, but for the most part, did well for their high school teams. And senior ranks, Natasha has always been a part of the conversation when it comes to relays once she makes the team. You know what I mean? So she has a wealth of experience there. So I thought it was pretty solid. It was also pretty tentative too, because I realized Natasha, we didn't really have anybody to compete against. So she just ran out. However, you know what I mean? I definitely saw more intent from a Janelle when I looked at the comparison between her and Natasha. That's what I saw in the race. Tia gave a strong leg, and Sharika also gave a solid anchor leg as well. So I'm pretty happy with what I saw. Though in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking I would switch, Sharika to and Tia. That's just me. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own view as it relates to how they would set up a relay, but that's just me and how I would set up the relay. Yeah, as I've been saying, I prefer, that crazy acceleration on anchor, just so that if we need to make up any ground, then I know the athlete can do that, right? So that being said, though, guys. Overall, I did enjoy the relays. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video, of course, and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.